I was asked this question yesterday on a show I did yesterday. Shout out to my boy Rich. Nah.
Why not?
Jaylen Brown younger? You only got Giannis for a certain amount of time, right? What do you got, about 4, 5, 6 years left? Cool. JT coming off an Achilles injury, we don't know. We didn't see the best version of JT, right? We literally seen the best version of Jaylen Brown. I'm not giving the best version of Jaylen Brown for Giannis.
Shit, the best version of Giannis is better than it.
Yeah, but I don't know what JT I'm getting, right? I think JT gonna come back and be the player we want.
He still was averaging 20. So at the very least, we know he can still average 20.
Yeah, but I know Jaylen Brown can average 30.
So can that nigga?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, get ready to speak Milwaukee, brother.
I'm going to have to give up.
So can y'all.
Milwaukee's not going to just do a player-for-player trade.
Not any assets as well.
The contracts match up.
Yeah.
They both on big deals. They not going to do that, though. It just doesn't. We trading an MVP, no disrespect. He a finals MVP, but that ain't going to match up.
So Giannis is not as valuable as Jaylen Brown?
He is.
Oh.
But I don't think that he matches a team, though. The Celtics need him.
Because they, yeah.
But if I'm a Milwaukee fan and I'm giving up our franchise player going to have a statue one day for Jaylen Brown, and no disrespect, I'm pissed.
A little bit. What do you think?
This is extraordinarily simple. Of course it makes sense for Milwaukee. You've got it exactly right, Greeny. Of course Milwaukee would see some of the stuff that Jaylen Brown is saying and watch everything, and they would get ready to call Boston. And from Boston's standpoint, this is very simple. In July, Jaylen Brown has the opportunity to sign a contract extension with the Celtics. If he is happy with the Celtics, it's a huge one. It can be $70 million a year. He's just coming off his best season. You're going to offer it. If he's happy with the Celtics, sign. See you in September. If he's not happy with the Celtics and he's like, listen, I'm not sure I want to be here, trade. This is, I mean, obviously the trade execution would be a little different. This is all going to take care of itself.
However, let's talk future here, because we had Sam Amick on last month talking about the Celtics would be very interested in perhaps acquiring the services of one Giannis Antetokounmpo if possible. But in doing so, they would have to get rid of either Tatum or Brown. That is, in my opinion, Lou, when we're talking Boston Celtics, that's blowing up the team a little bit. So
it is.
Would you do that?
I don't think they do. As far as Giannis goes, we're beating a dead horse at this point, but we're talking about a team that has a clear identity and a style of play that they want to play. So does Giannis fit that mold? I don't think so. And we know for a fact, Tatum and Brown, they've won a championship playing this way. Now, is it a unique brand of basketball that's only worked for a handful of teams in the history of the NBA? Sure, but that's their brand of basketball. That's what they've decided works best for them. And so if you're going to bring in somebody that doesn't do that well at all, that changes everything for me. And one of those guys have to go, and then that changes your identity. And so for me, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel in making that move. But any team you put Giannis on, it makes them a better basketball team. But it does change the trajectory of how you play and how you move moving forward.
Really ramping up the NBA content. I tell you, this wasn't by design. It's just it comes in and we get jiggy with it, right? So, let's talk about Giannis, in a Jaylen Brown swap. What can I say about it? Would I do it from both perspectives? I'll probably put a clip in there from Club Pod 20 podcast. Honestly, Milwaukee gonna want more. Giannis is an MVP. I mean, Jaylen Brown can be an MVP. Giannis is Giannis. Let's just talk about from Milwaukee standpoint of view first. Check out the NBA Talk playlist. They're gonna want more picks. I don't think that's a problem. Contracts about the same. And ultimately, the NBA wants to break Jaylen Brown. Now, let me slow down. Apparently, Jaylen Brown has issues. Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics organization is having some issues. T-Mac kind of ran his mouth about it. I think Brian Windhorst was already talking about it. And, Jaylen Brown, when they came out in the NBA draft, he went to Cal Berkeley, very smart school. They said he was some problem with him was he was too smart. He was saying he was arrogant, and he talks about he got his own shoe brand. He talks about black people owning stuff, black excellence. They're gonna try to Chris Mills him. I forget how to pronounce his new name. No disrespect. Craig Hodges went through it as well too. They're gonna try to ostracize him out the NBA. I remember I said this. I watched a little bit of the Malice at the Palace, the Netflix documentary, and I watched a bit of that. And Jermaine O'Neal, not in that documentary, he did an interview, and one of the best interviews I've seen with the Knucklehead podcast, where he talked about once the Malice in the Palace happened on that interview with Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles, he said that even when he made All-Star teams after that, they did not represent him at the All-Star game. There was no posters, there was no billboards. They act like he didn't exist. And Jaylen Brown, they're going to do the same thing. They're about to get ready to kind of usher him out the league or try to send him somewhere like Milwaukee. They say in NFL, when they get tired of you, want to get rid of you, they send you to Buffalo. No disrespect to Buffalo, but I think for him, they're going to bury him in Milwaukee in the rebuild. And, it is what it is. You think about a guy who had a career year. You think about a guy who had a career year. You think about a guy, who can defend, play offense. He led the team, did everything, and apparently there's still issues with him. And maybe it may boil down to the fact that he's streaming too much. I agree with that. I hate that shit, but for athletes. But, Giannis is probably still a higher caliber player. Going to Milwaukee will be a punishment for Jaylen Brown. He can stream there. Kind of being like, I'm gonna be quiet on that. Being in Boston, being black is a punishment too, but at least you got good seafood there. You're close to New York and shit, but had to say it. They probably gonna want some. And I don't think the Boston Celtics have an issue with giving up some. Tatum, Giannis, still not enough to win it. I don't care what you say. You can have Peyton Pritchard, Payton, Richard Pryor. It's still not enough for them to win nothing. But I agree with Jeff T. You don't know what Jason Tatum if he gonna come back. But if they do it, unfortunately for Jaylen Brown, he's stuck in Milwaukee. Ain't nothing gonna be going good in Milwaukee. They in a rebuild. I don't know what pick they gonna have. Maybe they might luck up and get a Darius Acuff or AJ DeBasta, and they can turn it around real fast. But Boston probably gonna ask for 2 or 3 first-round picks or 2 first-round picks, Giannis, and maybe a player. And to be honest, maybe they willing to give up a Peyton Pritchard. Maybe they're willing to give up Derek White after his performance. Nobody talk about how he didn't perform. So you might see, depending on, they might give something back for Derek White. But I think, that might be the whole thing. Maybe Boston might facilitate something to bring Drew Holiday back. Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Giannis, Jeremy Grant, somewhere in there. Maybe Jeremy Grant is kind of over, this kind of conflict of interest with Jason. But Tatum can play the 2, Grant can play the 3 or 4, Giannis, maybe something like that. I don't know how the money will work, but from Boston's standpoint of view, still not good enough to win a championship. I'm sorry. It has to be more. Even if hypothetically they got Drew Holiday back somehow, still not enough. If I'm Boston, I don't do it. But they've been trying to break up Tatum and Brown for years. I just still don't see that being enough. It's a good team. It depends how they fill it out. Milwaukee, still destitute. If they get a high pick and they get a guy like DeBasta or Darren Peterson with Jaylen Brown, they're on the right track, to be honest with you. Make a couple power moves. I'm cool with it. I think, Jaylen Brown, it'll be a punishment sending him to Milwaukee. Flat out. And I did a video where they were talking. I think I did upload the video where they was like, well, I would just make Jaylen Brown available in the expansion draft. So the NBA is telling media, and they starting a media push and hiring bots and playing media members to throw Jaylen Brown under the bus. Anytime you confident, smart, bold, brash, arrogant, or borderline arrogant as a black man, they want to shut you up, So, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure he calculated it. He got his contract. And, when it comes time when push him out the league like they did AI, AI got pushed out the league because I'm talking about Allen Iverson. Because of the culture shift and, they didn't want to push him as the face of the league, but he was the unofficial face of the NBA for the black community. Even the white community, you can see pictures of kids, dressing like AI in the crowd. The only thing that could have been more worse for the NBA is AI played with the Lakers or played in New York with the New York, or a market like that, or Boston. They would have literally hated it, and they made him pay for it. And that's why and his attitude has something to do with it, But hey, they couldn't wait to kick AI out the league, man. That's my all-time favorite player. It would never change. That would never change. AI is no more better player, favorite player of mine than Allen Iverson. That is, he was doing an autograph signing in Detroit. Well, it was in Novi, but I missed it. That was my favorite player. That will never change in life unless I have a son and he makes it to that level. It'll never change in life. That is my absolute favorite player. Probably my favorite most athlete of all time. Him, Barry, Calvin. NBA-wise, give all that before we get off here. My favorite player is Allen Iverson. After that, Kevin Garnett was my second favorite best player. Probably Kobe after that. Reggie Miller, Tim Duncan. Those were my guys. I probably had a few other I can't think of right now. Oh yeah, Grant Hill somewhere in there. I'm a Detroiter. Obviously Zeke, that was a little bit before my time at the end of but as my time, those are my guys. AI, KG, AI, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, Reggie Miller. That was one of my favorite players, near dear to my heart. That's a guy I would love to get an autograph from. I love Reggie Miller. Those are my guys, man. Those are my guys, man. Who else, man? I gotta give y'all a couple more. It's a great question, man. I can't really think of no more right now. Just guys I rock. Paul George probably in there. I'm a huge Paul George fan. He probably in there. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Good question. Paul George in there. Yeah, that'll be it. I don't know ones I can think of, but there's probably a bunch more. I'm trying to give y'all one more. I can really think of Ray Allen, especially young Ray Allen. He in there. Sean Kemp, he in there. Gary Payton, he got my favorite Nike shoes of all time outside of New Jordan. The first gloves, he in there. He was a Gary Payton fan. Jason Kidd, he in there. Man, it's a bunch of guys I used to like back in the day. Currently, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Damian Lillard in there. Yeah, that's one of my favorite players of all time too. Love to meet Damian. Damian, dope. One of my favorite hoopers of all time. Damian Lillard definitely in my top 10 favorite players. Not saying best, favorite players. But hey, man, appreciate y'all. Check out the NBA Talk playlist. Let me know what y'all think about Giannis and Jaylen Brown. Hit the link in the description. Say find me everywhere: X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Patreon, the whole nine.